So let's maybe pause and sum up a little bit of what Moore has done so far in this section of the essay, where he points out that all of the 7 propositions with which he began are contingent propositions. And all that means is that although he says they are all true, they are things that could have been false. That is, and I think what he means is that uttered under certain circumstances, or if the world had turned out differently, the 7 assertions that he makes in the beginning of the essays might have been false. They happen to be true, but they could have been false, and he seeks to explicate that by saying that the contraries, or he actually says the contradictories of those propositions that he asserted, are themselves not self-contradictory. That is, to say that I am sitting down right now is true, but to say that I am not sitting down right now, although it's false, is not self-contradictory. It's not self-contradictory in the way that saying that some bachelors are married is self-contradictory. So what does and what doesn't follow, Moore asks, from admitting that all of those assertions, although true, were contingent? The first thing he says is that it does not follow that he does not know those things. That is, it may be, he says, it may be actually, after the longest or a longer meditation or analysis of those propositions, it may be that he doesn't know them. But from the very fact that they're contingent, it doesn't follow that he doesn't know them. So he's perfectly, at least at this point, perfectly justified in saying that he knows them, even though they're contingent. The second thing he says is that it does not follow from the admission that those assertions were all contingent that they could possibly be false. That is, it doesn't follow from merely admitting that a certain assertion of a proposition, that it's contingent, empirical, accidental, to use different ways of describing it in philosophy. It doesn't follow that it's possible for those things to be false. In fact, he gives us reason for thinking that if we say that we know that something's true, at least in a fundamental use of that expression, knowing that something's true, that you have implied that it's not possible for it to be false. But the last thing that he points out from this fact that all of those assertions were contingent is that it does not follow that the assertions were not known with absolute certainty. That is, it does not follow from merely admitting that a proposition is contingent or empirical, that it cannot be known with absolute certainty. And what follows then is a very important discussion of the concept of certainty, of when we believe that what we know is known with certainty, and how we use the expression certainty. That's probably the most difficult part, I think, of the essay, and that's what we'll talk about next.